Welcome to our video about IT service providers. In this video, we're going to take a look at the IT service providers market. So what is an IT service provider? They offer assistance with software development, integration and maintenance, hardware, network integration, management and maintenance, information security issues. As companies, they often provide management consultants. They can deal with mobile services and web applications. So within these headings, what types of services do they provide? Starting with managed servers. Whilst you can store and manage your own dedicated server, sometimes this can prove costly in terms of money and time. So what an IT service provider can do is provide this for you using a secure data facility and adapting it to your company's needs. Again, with respect to data storage, it may prove more cost effective to pay an IT service provider to provide these services for you. Turning to disaster recovery services, should the worst happen, sometimes it can prove more cost effective to get an IT service provider in to restore services using their equipment and expertise than to keep all this in-house just in case. Turning to managed databases. Again, training somebody in-house to use a database to its full potential can be really expensive. So IT service providers can again prove more cost effective because you can buy this in the services of fully trained database administrators, which could save the company both time and money. For some services, such as a business email system, again, it could be more cost effective to get an IT service provider in to build the infrastructure and maintain it rather than doing it in-house. Turning to security systems. Protecting the company's data and systems is key for businesses, and again, it may prove more cost effective to turn to an IT service provider with the latest expertise and technology to make sure this is done as efficiently and effectively as possible. Cloud services. Cloud services is something that we're going to be looking at a bit later, but it basically provides a means whereby companies can store and process their data in third-party data centres, and it avoids the need to buy and maintain their own infrastructure. Buying in these services through an IT service provider can therefore be cost effective for the company because it avoids it having to provide all such facilities for itself. Turning to enabling multi-site working. Many companies these days are beginning to adopt the model of remote working, which means you've got employees working from different sites. But in order for this to be effective, there needs to be a certain level of IT infrastructure, and we need to make sure that there's a reliability of service so that those employees can do the work that they need to be able to do. This can be expensive for the company itself to provide, so again, this is where it would look to an IT service provider. Turning to software, when companies are making big decisions about which software to use, again, they may turn to an IT service provider for assistance in choosing it, installing it, and training their staff on how to use it efficiently and effectively. Lastly, turning to telephony. Again, IT service providers can provide assistance and advice on linking telephony to the hardware used for the IT infrastructure, and also providing advice on internet connectivity. This list is not comprehensive, but hopefully is providing you with a better understanding of the nature of the industry that we're looking at. Turning first to history. As it says, we're not going to look all the way back to the beginning of the use of computers. We're just going to focus on a few key events in the development of the use of technology by businesses, and hence why we now need such organisations as IT service providers. Looking first at local area networks, LANs, and wide area networks, WANs. The main drive for the need for local area networks was because people needed to share printers and storage, and they were both very expensive at the time. The breakthrough came in 1983 when novel netware was introduced. This supported a wide range of different cards and cabling types, so it allowed local area networks to be created. It was the preferred option until the mid-90s, when Microsoft introduced Windows NT and Windows for Workgroups. It's also worth mentioning that during this period, the Unix workstations were using TCP/IP-based networking, and this technology remains influential on the internet and in both Linux and Apple Mac networking. From local area networks then came wide area networks, which is basically a network that reaches way beyond that of a local area of network into different regions, counties, countries, etc. Turning to the Internet and the World Wide Web. The Internet and the World Wide Web brought businesses